Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
Hi, in today's episode of Reality Eating Itself, woke liberals were caught destroying a Tesla because nothing says saving the planet like wrecking an electric car. Let's watch them bravely take down carbon emissions by curb stomping a zero emissions vehicle. Dude, you have lost your mind. Destroying a car to prove a point about capitalism? Genius.
This emitter pulled into a crowded parking lot and pulled into an open spot, then ran into the store. What they didn't know was that an Audi driver had evidently been waiting for that spot. When the car next to the Tesla pulled out, the Audi driver pulled into that spot instead, pulling up extra close to the Tesla so they could do this. The woman driving the Audi got out, slamming her door into the side of the Tesla, then kicked one of its wheels. When the Audi driver returned to her car a few minutes later, she went for a knockout door ding in the second round, slammed the door as hard as she could, twice. That's 3 strikes and she's out. The video was provided to the police, who then tracked down the driver but didn't bother citing her for a hit and run. Instead, they gave her a stern talking to. This all feels very Canadian. The emitter filed a claim with the Audi driver's insurance provider, and they agreed to pay for the damage after seeing the video. The emitter sent along a shout out to Wayne at Dent to Go, who fixed the dent perfectly. The total cost of repairs was $700 US. If the panel had needed to be repainted, the cost would have been somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 US.
Let's take a moment of silence for the Audi door, because it took more damage than the actual message.
This emitter has a rather icy relationship with his neighbor. While getting in his car one day, he noticed he had a new Sentry Mode event to review. When he watched the footage, he saw his neighbor run up to his car and put something beneath one of the Tesla's wheels. The emitter immediately jumped out to see what it was. It turned out it was a big nail lodged between the asphalt and the tire. If he'd pulled away without checking Sentry Mode, it definitely would have punctured his tire. The emitter filed a police report, and an officer has been assigned to investigate. Apparently, the neighbor was upset because the emitter's Tesla had cracked the street. The emitter tells us that there isn't even one crack in his street.
Folks, Teslas do come with cameras. If you're planning on playing homeowner CSI with a nail, maybe wear a mask in front of an AI dash cam.
2 senior citizens have been caught keying luxury cars in a shopping centre car park. Police say this is 70-year-old Raymond Edwards, captured by a Tesla's security camera running a key along cars north of Brisbane. A woman who was also in the car park joined in. The Tesla's owner has been quoted $2,000 to fix the damage.
Oh wow, breaking records at this age? Is it jealousy, boredom, or a deep spiritual feud with lithium-ion batteries? If this is love and peace, I'd hate to see their idea of war.
Kevin's neighbor wouldn't stop unplugging his Tesla charger.
Kevin, buddy, this won't fix your problems, but it will definitely fix your relationship with the police.
Joe was driving his Model 3 in Prosper, Texas when he noticed a pickup truck coming up behind him. Joe told us he's sure he had no previous interaction with this truck and had never seen it before. The truck flew up behind him and started following him through the neighborhood. When they approached an intersection, the passenger of the truck leaned out and threw a rock at the Tesla. Luckily, he had a weak throwing arm and the rock missed. Joe heard him yelling something unintelligible as they sped off.
The future runs on batteries, not hate, but some still cling to rocks, yelling, "Not on my watch."
Leo was parked outside a Target in Alameda, California. When he came back, he discovered that his Tesla Model 3 had been keyed on all 4 panels of the right side while he was shopping. Leo immediately reviewed the Sentry Mode clips. Check out what he found. A guy had been walking around his car before pulling out what looks like a set of car keys. He proceeded to drag them all along the right side of the Tesla. He really dug deep to make sure he damaged the paint. Don't worry, the story doesn't end here. In fact, we're just getting started, and the story only gets more disturbing. The guy walked back to Leo's car after keying it and started feeling the scratch he'd just made with his hands. And not just once. He made a few trips around the Tesla, touching the scratch in the paint each time. Do you think he was trying to rub it off, or was he appreciating his handiwork? He walked away again, only to return in slightly different clothes. His t-shirt is still visible under the hoodie, and you can see that he's still wearing the same pair of pants. This time, he walked around the Tesla barefoot. He did the same thing to the Jeep parked next to Leo's Tesla. After seeing all of this, Leo knew he'd be able to identify the guy and the car he was driving. Leo suspected the guy was doing this for fun, so he thought he was probably still in the parking lot. He didn't even need the license plate number of the 2018 Cadillac SUV to start scouting the parking lots for the guy. After looking for about 10 minutes, he finally saw the same type of SUV approaching from his right. Leo quickly parked in front of him, honked his horn, and got out to talk to him. To avoid any escalation, Leo called security and they came over not understanding what was going on. Leo showed them the videos and then they understood. Even with security there, the guy denied his acts of vandalism and acted very aggressively toward them. Leo then realized he'd have to call 911. The responding police officers were impressed with the videos, and they promptly found all the clothes the guy had worn in his car. He appeared to be intoxicated and didn't want to come to any agreement. Leo decided to press charges and the police officers arrested him. Leo's wife thinks the guy must own a body shop in the area and was keying new and expensive cars around town to get more business. Unfortunately for him, Sentry Mode might have saved the day for many other people in the parking lot since he was still wandering around the area when he was arrested. Repairs took 1 week in a body shop Leo trusts, and the total repair cost was over $4,800 US. The car looks as good as new after the repairs. Leo recommends the guys at Go Auto Collision in San Mateo, California, but he sincerely hopes he doesn't have to go back there anytime soon. District Attorney sent him a letter requesting a list of all the property damage, and since Leo caught the vandal, they'll be seeking restitution on his behalf. In the end, the police were impressed with the Tesla Cam feature, and Leo told them this clip would definitely be featured on Wham Bam Tesla Cam. They told him they're looking forward to watching it, so hey there, police officers, we hope you're satisfied.
Good job, buddy. Who needs a gallery when your vandalism skills turn every Tesla into a statement piece? Isn't it like showing up to a heist and forgetting you're wearing a body cam? Kudos, sir. You are saving the planet by throwing a tantrum about a car that's trying to save it. I'm sure they didn't realize Teslas are equipped with cameras, probably thought they were just high-tech bumper stickers.
A driver's brazen act of vandalism has been caught on video in Sydney's northern suburbs. Getting out of his car, the man can be seen keying a Tesla parked next to him in full view of the vehicle's security camera.
This one's just stuck in the past, probably still in 1985.
At a Tesla showroom. Last week in Oregon, the windows of a dealership were shattered by bullets. And in Massachusetts, a Tesla charging station went up in flames.
Tesla drivers are a little bit under attack.
Back in Chicago, Ed, who asked us not to use his last name, was parked on Lakeshore Drive last month when he says his blue Tesla was vandalized. The clear message to Tesla's co-founder, Elon Musk.
I look and I see in giant white spray painted letters, F Elon. You could probably fill in the blank. For what? It didn't affect Elon, and it's something that I had to deal with.
At this rate, Tesla insurance should come with a punch card. Vandalized 5 times, 6th repairs free.
A Tesla owner and now customer recently sent Zipperstein this video taken in Chicago that shows a white Chevy hitting the bumper, backing up, and then accelerating again, damaging the car. The driver gets out.
Hitting a Tesla with your own car twice is truly visionary in the art of losing.
We begin the hour with an update on a story you'll see only on 2. We aired this video of a man vandalizing a woman's Tesla in a Whole Foods parking lot over the weekend. Houston police advised anyone who recognized the man to call its property crimes unit. Well, the man in that video called us and identified himself. Joy, what a story.
Zach, that's right. Well, the vandalism happened in a Whole Foods parking lot in the Tanglewood area. The man in that video identified himself as Nicholas Carrion. He says though the incident happened during the height of Tesla attacks nationwide, causing an FBI investigation into domestic terrorism, this wasn't his intention. He says it was road rage, and he has this message for the driver.
When I watched the video, I noticed that a man was walking alongside what I first thought was just touching my car all the way from the back to the front. And then when I got out of my car to look, I then noticed a long scratch along that whole side of my car, including the door handle.
Happened just over a month ago on February 13th. The woman whose car was keyed opted to hide her identity after looking at her car's security video system and noticing that the man who did the damage followed her from the interstate. That man, Nicholas Carrion, says he was cut off by the driver while he was also on his way to that same Whole Foods at the time. He says he went inside, did his shopping, but could not let go of his anger. He now faces a criminal mischief and felony charge due to the amount of damage he caused. He says he was not aware of the FBI's investigation of finding reports of arson, gunfire, and vandalism of Teslas linked to political grievances.
I felt anger because the woman cut me off. Please know that I did not mean to cause you that much fear.
The woman that we spoke with says she was not aware of any road rage incident. She says if she was, she would not have left her car alone in the parking lot. Reporting in the newsroom, Joy Addison, KPRC 2 News.
If your response to being cut off is commit felony and ruin your weekend, maybe it's the unprocessed childhood trauma.
This woman got upset because Sherry had parked in her spot. However, as the judge told her in court, there are no reserved parking spots in a public parking lot. In the video, we can see that she tried to park as close to the Tesla as she could, which was her first act of aggression. If we slow the footage down, we can see that this woman had the knife ready in her hand above her purse. She then went ahead and dragged the knife along the side of the Tesla's door. Sherry parked far away from all other cars to prevent door dings, and this vicious individual went out of her way to damage the car. Wes and Sherry noticed while reviewing the Sentry Mode footage that the offender arrived 30 minutes after the car was parked and sat in her car in the parking lot for about 5 minutes before the attack. So it definitely seems like she spent some time planning it out. Another angle shows that she then entered the back door of a nearby business to drop off some items to her car and drove away. Wes never imagined they would get such useful footage from all all 4 of the Sentry Mode cameras. Sherry contacted the police and provided the footage which clearly showed the criminal's license plate number. The police arrested the vandal at her place of employment. She admitted to knifing the Tesla after being told about the video evidence. The woman chose to avoid getting a criminal record by settling out of court and agreeing to pay for the damages. She showed angry about the Tesla taking her parking spot. If the case hadn't been settled out of court, she would have had to pay a $2,000 fine, and Sherry would have had to sue her and receive compensation. West suggests as a tip to other Tesla owners who might find themselves in a similar situation, don't format the drive, and be sure to save the videos from all 4 cameras before and after.
Honestly, she colonized a parking spot. I half expected her to start charging rent.
This road rager attacked a random Tesla, but this Tesla driver was not about to back down. Keep watching to see this maniac get some satisfying instant justice from the police. Mike and his wife Jen were on their way to a bicycle shop when traffic slowed down for a driver crossing multiple lanes to avoid missing their exit. Mike abruptly decelerated to avoid rear-ending the Honda in front of him, a Honda the driver behind him couldn't see. The driver of the black Saturn must have thought Mike was brake checking him because he took this personally. At that moment, Mike was focused on what was happening ahead of him, and neither he nor Jen had any idea what was going on behind them. Mike used file recovery software to extract this footage, so just ignore the mouse cursor that appears in some frames. About 20 seconds later, they heard a thud as if they'd hit something, or as if something had fallen off the car. That's when Mike noticed the Saturn speeding past them as the driver glared at him while putting up his window. When Jen asked what the sound was, Mike replied that he thought the guy had thrown something at their Tesla. Even done talking, the guy pulled in front of and brake checked them. Mike called 911 right away. Since this occurred on a highway between towns, he was transferred to the New Jersey State Police. The operator there told Mike they wouldn't send an officer unless Mike pulled over and stopped. But Mike told them he wasn't willing to let someone take off after causing damage to his vehicle. Thankfully, the Saturn driver then pulled over, but it wasn't to wait for the police. He proceeded to get out to confront Mike. Mike told us the Saturn driver told him he had his daughter in the car with him and Mike shouldn't have brake checked him. Mike told him he hadn't brake checked him at all, and that he'd been slowing down for traffic. 4 other drivers had done the exact same thing. Mike asked why he'd targeted him specifically. The Saturn driver then asked Mike why he was following him, and Mike told him he was on the phone with the state police after he'd thrown something at Mike's car. He was planning to follow the guy until an officer would respond. At that point, the Saturn driver told Mike to go himself, walked back to his car, and drove away. Mike was still on the phone with the state police while this was happening, and as the 2 cars got back on the road, he was transferred to the police department of the town they were entering. Conveniently, an officer was driving down the road at that very moment, and Mike was able to flag him down to tell him about everything that had happened. Phone call with the 911 operator was still going, and once the officer understood the situation, he said, "I got this." Okay, we made that part up, but it seems plausible because the cop lit up his party lights and took off in pursuit of the offending driver. The Saturn driver seemed to know exactly what was going on because he immediately pulled over on the side of the road. The officer spoke with the Saturn driver, then came back and talked with Mike and Jen. He told them the Saturn driver had claimed they'd been following him aggressively on the highway and stalking him. He also said he hadn't thrown anything at their car. That's when Mike pulled up his Tesla cam footage. Together, they discovered that the guy had tossed an entire gallon of water at them. Based on the Tesla cam footage alone, the officer told them he could write the guy up for multiple infractions, including improper lane changes, child endangerment, and littering. Once Mike confirmed his Tesla wasn't damaged, he decided not to pursue any charges against the Saturn driver and told the cop he'd leave him to do whatever he thought was best. After taking a copy of their Tesla cam footage, the officer shook Mike and Jen's hands and thanked them for calling in the dangerous driver. Mike and Jen then left the scene.
Sir, the lack of self-awareness is breathtaking.
Dan was sitting at a red light in Jacksonville, Florida. He'd only had his Model 3 for 5 months at this point, so he was still flooring the juice pedal at green lights, enjoying the smooth acceleration that an EV can provide. As Dan was preparing to blast off from pole position, a woman in a Buick Enclave pulled on the line of cars behind him and took the spot next to him. When the light turned green, he took off. As soon as he hit the straightaway, he slammed the accelerator and enjoyed that wonderful EV torque. When he approached the next red light, the Buick merged in behind him. What he didn't know was that the woman had become offended and was now furious. Once they had come to a complete stop, she got out of her car and walked up to Dan. He didn't even notice her until she was right at his door, spitting on the driver's side window. Dan's not sure what this Karen's issue was. After reviewing the clip several times, he can only assume that she must have planned to cut in front of him after the light, but she never used her turn signal or indicated in any way that this was the case. His other theory is that she might just be a Tesla hater who tries to spit on at least one Tesla per day. By the way, this took place in May of 2020, right in the middle of the strict lockdown mask mandates. Dan hates to think that maybe she was trying to get him sick.
She didn't use a turn signal, but she did use a biological one, saliva.
He wasn't sure what it was, but when he turned around to check, there was a Nerf dart stuck to his window. He was confused about where it had come from. After another quick glance, he noticed the passenger of a nearby Honda had flung the foam dart and was having a good chuckle as their car turned left at the intersection. Since there was no damage and it seemed like a fairly harmless prank, Kevin laughed it off as well and temporarily left the dart on the window to show his family and friends. However, he does hope he wasn't targeted for driving a Tesla. Who knows, maybe Honda drivers are taking #HondaBump to a whole new level.
Nerf dart to the window. That's just a Gen Z way of saying, your car's cooler than mine, but I'm too broke to process that emotionally.
Damien had stopped to buy some food from a street vendor in Sacramento, California. When he got back into his Model 3, a stranger walked up. At first, he kicked the door as Damien was closing it, and then he keyed the rear panel. Jumping out to look at the damage, Damien saw the guy coming back around. He knew there was going to be trouble, so he pulled out his pepper spray, blasting the guy in the face when he came closer to him. The guy ran away, and Damien called the police, who told him they would look for him. The main damage the guy did to his car was on the rear panel, which Damien filed an insurance report for.
Haha, I love how Damien didn't even wait for the confrontation.
When Joel passed them, they got very angry. Joel's not sure if they didn't like being passed, if it was because Joel drives an EV, or if maybe it has something to do with him being from Minnesota. First, the other driver tried to throw something out of the sunroof, but this didn't work thanks to the wind. Next, he started driving on the gravel shoulder. In the right repeater camera, we can see that he rolled down his window and again threw something at the Tesla. The other driver kept slowing down, trying to get Joel to come alongside him, but Joel slowed down until they were going less than 30 miles per hour before the other driver finally pulled back onto the highway in front of him. He continued driving very aggressively and passed another car on the shoulder. He also tailgated other drivers and weaved into oncoming traffic multiple times. Joel called 911 and gave them his license plate number, but unfortunately, he never saw any police respond.
Joel was just trying to get home. Meanwhile, the other guy was recreating a deleted scene from Mad Max Dairyland Edition.
Green Toyota Tundra pickup truck that you walked up to. You don't remember what you did? What did you do to it?
I scratched it.
Why? Was it the bumper sticker? And she's got a sticker that says, "Let's go Brandon" or something.
Yeah, I guess it infuriated me.
That's the only reason you did it? You don't know who owns the truck or anything?
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Is it a key?
No, it's my key pass. Yeah.
Do you know which key you used?
No, I have no idea.
I'm guessing you know it's expensive to repaint a truck.
Gonna have to repaint the truck.
Did you?
Stupid, idiotic, and I'm gonna get the truck. Get the fucking much.
And you should.
Yeah.
But
All right, I made a stupid mistake.
Mr. Brothers, here's the unfortunate news. She wants to press charges, so I have to take you to jail, sir. When you damage someone's property over $1,000, it's a felony.
And Kevin Connell 3. Where are you on here?
For a felony criminal mischief.
That's a felony?
It's about $6,000 to repaint the truck. He has to go to jail, and tomorrow morning we'll have first appearance in front of a judge.
Kevin, stupid. Stupid.
I think they're not even mad at Tesla. They're just mad they still have to use a key to start their car. Sanity clearly wasn't invited to this party.
Somebody keyed the crap out of my Tesla, a car I bought 6 years ago in the state of California, because I'm concerned about climate change. Oh, but some amazing resistance fighter keyed the crap out of it, and that's gonna do it. Voting didn't work, but this defiling the car of a fellow liberal, we did it, guys. We got him. Today's our Liberation Day. Go celebrate. Just go celebrate. Woo!
Comrades shall be publicly shamed for the crime of owning a Tesla.
My Cybertruck was attacked by an Elon Musk hater in broad daylight.
Wow. Cheers. Hey! Stop! You guys are piece of dude. That's my car. Yeah. What's the problem? You guys are idiots.
So get this. These guys park right behind my truck, attack it, and leave. But that's so dumb because everyone knows the Tesla records everything. Not to mention, I was literally standing 15 feet away from my truck. Who would do this? What a dumbo. I immediately assessed the damage, called 911, and secretly followed them to the place they were going.
White dude, pink hair. 40?
10 minutes for the cops to arrive. They questioned me, so I showed them the videos.
Got to be an Elon Musk violation. So.
It is, yeah.
And they asked, do you know where he went? I said, yes. He and his friends went to the movie theater.
5-0 out here. The boys went into the movie theater, so we're going to see what happens.
Turns out they were watching Death of a Unicorn, so the cops went in, paused the entire movie, told the guy, you need to come with us.
Not so funny now, is it, big man?
The police asked if I wanted to press charges, and I said, absolutely. This is going to be a few $1,000s in damages for sure. And plus, Elon Musk haters need to be taught a lesson.
Look at these guys. They're the friends chilling there, waiting.
Most people get away with vandalism, but not this guy. We got him. Thanks, Elon.
Oh, wow. What's up, bro?
They really paused the movie to make an arrest. That's the most action the audience got all night.
Free service. How about you pay for the repairs? Write a check. You just bought a Tesla.
I can wipe it off
with
a towel.
No,
it's not
it is a hate crime, sir. It is a hate crime. Did you write a swastika on there?
I'm sorry you're upset.
Did you write a swastika?
It didn't even work. Apparently it doesn't work.
Did you write a swastika on the... It's a key, sir. We see it on the video.
It's not a key.
Is it a swastika?
I was probably putting my keys in my pocket.
Is it a swastika?
Have you looked at your car?
Is it a swastika?
Is there a key mark?
Yes. Is it a swastika?
That's impossible.
It's at the police right now. It's being fingerprinted.
What do you mean it's being fingerprinted?
Because they're trying to track you down. Thankfully, Facebook tracked you down. So your business, your freaking livelihood, everything now.
Listen.
Because you chose to write you tell Facebook that you're sorry for writing a swastika on a Tesla.
Listen, I said I'm sorry.
For what?
And I apologize.
For what?
I have nothing against your car, and I have nothing against you.
So why did you write a swastika on a Tesla?
Obviously, I have something against Elon Musk, but that's not the
so
way
Elon
to
Musk
show my...
owns that car? Because
No,
it was
he
bought
owns
and
the
paid
company.
for. It was bought and paid for a long time
That's
ago.
why it's misguided, and obviously I did not intend.
Cool, but Elon Musk didn't just put his face on the car, did he?
Destruction of property is a perfectly viable source of protest. No harming humans, obviously.
Yeah.
Human life is sacred no matter whose it is. But property these are just things. These are just cars.
Property is just things, but I bet she'd be singing a different tune if someone spray painted her front door with protest art.
Glances over at the car, and moments later they return and quickly start keying the passenger door, phone in the other hand.
You can tell in the video too, like they're actively starting to record, and they're recording the whole thing. You can easily tell this is a targeted, like there's intent there, and they, kind of a mockery of it, right? With all the recording.
Seconds later, the vandal runs off. The owners, who asked to remain anonymous, notice the damage about a half hour later and say since then they have felt unsettled and somewhat fearful.
So you're keying a car, recording it, and then running off. Is this how protests are supposed to go now?
Did you just key a Tesla the other day? What? You're on video. Yeah. This is the guy. You just keyed a Tesla. You got a video online. I just saw it. It's all over the media. No Tesla. Yes, you did. You keyed a Tesla in a parking lot somewhere around here. What do you got to say about that? I didn't do that. Well, you're on video. I plainly saw you doing it. You pulled up right next to it and then you keyed it. You want to bet? Whatever. Okay. Well, they got your license plate. I'm surprised you haven't been contacted by the police yet. I mean, what do you have to say? I mean, I saw you do it. I'm just curious. I mean, just because of Elon, you're wearing a USA t-shirt, driving a Korean car. Why would you key an American car?
I was just waiting for the twist where he blames the car for offending him and then claims it was self-defense.
This anonymous submitter was driving her Model 3 in New York when she was brutally attacked. She was driving home from work and had just used the passing lane to overtake two other vehicles when she noticed another car entering the highway. Naturally, she stayed in the passing lane to give the incoming driver room to enter the highway, but that's when she noticed a Honda weaving through traffic before zooming past her. Our submitter told us she flashed her high beams to tell the Honda driver to slow down before he quickly swerved in front of her, then slammed on his brakes and blocked her from continuing. As she came to a sudden stop, she was almost rear-ended by the car behind her. Petulant child then got out of his car and proceeded to kick the Tesla's front lid. But that first kick seems to have hurt him more than it hurt the car. Our submitter made several attempts to back away from the guy, and even though the driver behind her tried to give her room, she couldn't get very far. Once he sped off, she called 911 and reported the incident. She's now waiting for a service appointment to have the damage to her Tesla inspected in the middle of a highway at night before attacking a lone woman. This guy, I guess. I'm sure we can come up with lots of jokes about his broken tail, but this situation was far from funny. Let's hope he isn't allowed behind the wheel for a long time.
If proving your manhood means targeting a lone woman, that ego's made of glass. That's all for today's episode of Woke Liberals Caught Destroying Tesla. If keying a Tesla is your idea of activism, maybe try journaling instead. Like, subscribe, and please stop taking your feelings out on electric cars.